Hello and welcome to the best mods for Xbox PC, where we will be looking at some of the best mods to check out each and every single day, or at least that's the aim. There'll be something here for everyone, definitely worth checking out. Use the chapters where you need them. If you do get anything out of this, consider liking, subscribing. It goes a really long way. Appreciate your time. Let's get into it.
Ducking into Neon, and we're checking out the Neon Sleepcrate Furnished by Neazon. It's very simple furnished, nice little addition to the Sleepcrate. The Sleepcrate forever the spot for the street rat minimalist, or just a place to escape the hustle bustle. A very simple furnishing. Some of the cool features are that the piggy bank is actually a container. There's a cabinet container, 3 ammo boxes, 2 weapon displays, helmet display, 2 backpack display. And with all that sort of set up, it actually looks quite fantastic. You'll also be able to decorate this nice space. But another neat little spin on the Neon Sleepcrate. Nice little mod. Let's keep moving. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we finally have the holy grail of mods. The one and only reason we could pull more players back to Starfield. And this mod is called ZBB Zone's Beautiful Bodies. Now we can really ruin this dream if we go and do something like this. But boys, I suggest we stick perhaps on Mobby between the muscle and thimb to kind of get a nice shape. But this amazing mod done by Zone79, bringing us so many good clothing mods, this time bringing us stuff under the clothing, emphasizing the beautiful shapes of female bodies, which is always desperately needed in games these days. It's just a nice simple mod, adding a bit more curves where it deserves. And this would be a fantastic mod to definitely use with your NPC enhancer gun mod, and just be able to change all your characters or whoever you want into perhaps maybe a more beautiful bodied NPC. Or if you're into it, you could go something like this. Yeah. In any case, a really cool, nice little mod. But just to go into a little bit more detail, so it's going to add a bit more of a busty option with the body morphs, as we can see here. A bit more of a fit, skinny shape included in the morphs, and a slightly more curved in the chest and waist, and a strong shape. Now this was interesting to me because this is the first mod I've seen that has the moderated title on it. So I don't know exactly how that works. I'm guessing you would have to be over 18. So that probably doesn't rule out a lot of us. But yeah, just so you know, it is a moderated mod. It's completely free and I freaking love it. But you can most certainly really accentuate the certain areas that you'd like to. There's a few different versions of this, I believe, on Nexus. I don't know if they're all supported anymore, but this one should be pretty well kept because it is Zone's work. Very decent appearance mod. Awesome work. Let's keep moving. Before we stray too far away, I just want to make a point that on Nexus, the Zone's VBB mod does suggest that this mod works well with STARQUEEN mod. So we'll just go over the STARQUEEN mod. Now this is only on PC, but perhaps bringing more attention to it, maybe one day it will come to Xbox. So STARQUEEN is created by FireApple Gaming, and it is rather remarkable because what it does is it adds photorealistic skin textures with a high level of detail and hand painted element. And I mean, look at these skin textures. Now I'll try to zoom in a little bit more, but they are next level. And if you are on PC and you're into this kind of detail, STARQUEEN appears to be probably one of the better skin textures or appearance mods that just focuses on the skin. I was not aware of this mod, but if we just flick through some of the various textures, you can just get an idea. They are very, very well detailed. Definitely gives you much more of a real look. The cool thing is with these custom textures, they're compatible with multiple body mods, your ZBB, VBB, BBL, and all the rest. There's a few different versions as well, ones that are safe for work and ones that are not safe for work. So for example, you could have this thing right here, but completely naked if you were into that. It also updates a few different things like the diffuse, the normal, the ambient occlusion, rough and specular map. But do note there's no changes to the face or hand textures. And then we can definitely take note of that because if we just check out the tummy here and then you move up to the face, the textures are quite different. But the whole point of this is that it is designed to have minimal conflicts with other aligned mods that are changing faces and appearances and all that sort of stuff. But I just wanted to include that as well because I think this is a good one to note, and hopefully down the track we could see something like this come to Xbox, as I know quite a lot of people do enjoy these mods, and after looking at it at myself I can definitely see the value. So just a quick look at the STARQUEEN female skin texture mod by FireApple Gaming. Superb texture mod for your appearances. Let's keep moving. Here we have a new incredible addition to the Avontech shipyard. However, this mod is called Avontech Raceyard. And of course, this is done by the famous Chaos Nerd, who has given us amazing ship parts and components from way back. And here we have his first paid mod, which is going to add, say, about 9 new pieces. Starting off, we have a new cockpit called the Sparrow 525, which includes a new cockpit, quite a few new engines with the class A, B, and C for your Void Guard. You also have these really really nice wing engine, which look freaking rad. Now, obviously, all this stuff is going to go perfect with all the other Avontech stuff. And this being the first paid mod, I think it's awesome if we could support all the work that he's done over the last year, because you're still getting some incredibly awesome, amazing ship parts. And ship parts are probably one of the things I want to see the most of within Starfield, seeing how the shipbuilding is just such a major focus and drive to play the game. But just delving a little bit more into the details. So the Void Guard engines, the 1200, 1600, 2200, these are armored engines across 3 classes. They're enhancing durability and support for ships of various sizes and capabilities. But as you can see, as we go across the A class, B class, and C class, pretty much built in their respective categories as you would expect. However, we do have these very cool Draconis engines, and you will have the option to have the lights on or off for these by the looks of it. These are basically your fighter class A engines with elongated wing designs and 2-weapon hardpoint, providing both a distinct visual and combat advantage. The Neon version, yeah, this is just going to have your lights on it, but I don't know, the lights are pretty freaking unreal. You also have the wings, so these are engines as well. I really like to see this. This is something very cool, which also has weapon mount. These are more your sweeping wing engines, very much likely to appeal to those that are doing slim, nice builds that are about the speed aesthetics. And we have the mighty Gorgon 940. But this is your Class C large engine, tailored for the bigger, bulkier ships, ideal for your heavy duty and workhorse build, and it is so magical. I freaking love the look of these. So to top this off, we have a few other pieces. The blade mount, this is your customizable weapon mount, letting players add extra armaments with a fierce visual effect. I mean, look at this. This is ready to stab you, as well as having so many nice weapon mount points. Something to mix it up, we also have a reactor, Class A with a power of 20. These are mostly designed for your short-range compact ships. I mean, look how small this is. It doesn't get much more compact than this, as well as a nice compact fuel tank. One of the cool features is that we can flip nearly all the components in all the different directions within reason, but it has a lot of flexibility there. And that's pretty much for all the various components. So you'll definitely find that handy as a shipbuilder. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try whack these on the Mako, rebuild this a little bit just to give you an idea, and we'll go check inside the cockpit just to have a good idea of what's on offer here. Now, I forgot to mention, this is going to cost you 400 credits. And here are some of the components in the steel. And you can see the cockpit is pretty straightforward. It is kind of got you good visuals in terms of how forward it is. And there's nothing really obscuring your vision. Very minimalistic, just some heat piping, a few little consoles here. But I think a lot of this is just left for you to sort of decorate how you want. Very open, but that sort of gives you an idea of what it looks like. When it comes to the other components, I think they're freaking rad. So I love how if you get some of the other mods to overlap, you can make these kind of cool scale looking things, making the engines appear very, very different to whatever we've seen before. For you shipbuilders, I mean, this is just going to be an absolute must because it just does give you so many varying shapes that are very unusual to a lot of the builds that we've seen going forward. So if you do want to be the first in line to get some of these crazy new builds going, this is going to be a cool mod for you. It offers a few new components, 400 credits. I think it's worthwhile. Plus, we can just be thankful, throw in some coin for all the work that Chaos Nerve's already done. It's good to see some paid ship parts, and these ones are fantastic, very custom, very unique, and goes along with the other Avontech part. Overall, brilliant mod. Let's keep moving. The dynamic medical build mod introduces an innovative realism-based approach to medical costs within Starfield, making in-game healing costs reflect your character's current state. This mod allows players to add an economic layer to health management by customizing the way medical costs scale with their character's health, afflictions, and overall game progression. And this is another mod done by Samantha Says TV. First, we're going to head into our settings where we can really fine-tune this gameplay option. Here under the medical bill calculation, we can go the fixed value mode, which will retain the base game's healing cost with a flat rate for different conditions, making it a bit more of a familiar choice for players wanting minimal change. For the percentage-based option, costs are adjusted according to the player's remaining health, making treatment cheaper for less severe injuries. This option adds realism without heavily penalizing players for high-level health needs. The point-based option will scale the cost per health point healed and per affliction cured. This setting is ideal for players looking to add a dynamic challenge, as higher level characters with more health will incur steeper costs. The medical bill multiplier gives us a range of 0.5 to a 10x, allowing players to fine-tune the cost scale for healing based on personal preference or difficulty. This is especially useful for those who want a more economically challenging game without simply relying on base prices. So here is just a quick example of where I'm very low on health and I'm going to heal my wounds, which is going to cost 8,000 420, which is probably one of the harder, more expensive ways because we do have the point-based and the multiplier times 10. In summary, the dynamic medical bill mod enhances immersion by making medical expenses in Starfield reflect a character's health, affliction status, gives players the freedom to adapt medical costs to suit their gameplay style while adding realism to the economic system. Particularly effective in survival focus or economic challenge playthroughs. Although it does say it needs a new game to start the function, it was working quite fine for me, just in a regular save. Cool mod, let's keep moving. Here we have the landing bay cargo access by Skinny Pig 2. After installing this mod, if you go into your landing bay and you notice that the mod has not taken effect, we will need to jump into our builder and just make a minor modification just to reset the cell. And after completing that, we will now notice that we have the landing bay cargo access. This just adds an easy cargo access panel in our landing bay, removing the need to enter the ship and undergo multiple loading screens. Particularly good for people that are looking to preserve immersion. It's a good lore-friendly integration, as well as we still have all the interactive full-screen interface. Do note though, there is no quick access. That little menu that pops up when you hover over the cargo hold, it's just your typical static full inventory screen. Can't remember if we've covered a similar mod to this before, but I really do like the idea of having a cargo hold access here. What I'd also love to see is having all the workbenches somehow fitted into or integrated into the landing bay. Just think that would be really handy. A small little mod, but certainly on your travels, this would be very, very useful throughout your gameplay. Just saving you a ton of time of not having to go through loading screens. This is mostly mod for people looking for realism. As we all know, we can access our cargo hold at any point from anywhere if we set that option up. Nifty mod, let's keep moving. This next mod is called Crew Eat. It introduces a crew subsistence system, which adds a new layer of management and immersion for players interested in the role of a responsible captain. So what this mod introduces is a crew consumption cycle. Every 30 real-time minutes or after the player sleeps, waits, each crew member on board will consume one food and one drink item from your cargo hold. This mechanic aligns with the player's food and drink cycle within the survival mode, creating a very immersive system where the player must manage supplies for their entire crew and not just himself. Heading into our cargo hold, we can see we have tons of food and plenty of drinks. Keep an eye on the right-hand side, as you'll see that our crew has consumed tons of drink, food, as I've just sped through 12 hours of time using a command. So our visual indication will update dynamically every 30 minutes with the information on the right of what our companions are consuming. Cool thing is this also introduces an XP and penalty system. We'll get a buff for each fed and hydrated crew member. You receive a 2% XP bonus, potentially reaching up to plus 18 with a full crew of 9. This is a good incentive which adds a small but meaningful reward for players who keep a well-stocked cargo hold. The penalty, conversely, failing to supply the necessary items incurs a 2% penalty per unfed crew member. This system encourages attentive resource management and introduces a balanced consequence for neglecting crew needs. So you will potentially have a dual state where you'll have a penalty and a bonus at the same time, which adds an extra layer of nuance to the crew management. So when it comes to the inventory control, the crew will only consume items from the ship's cargo hold, sparing the captain's locker, personal inventory from depletion. A nice design as it prevents accidental consumption of key items stored in separate inventories. What I'd like to see from this mod is have the notifications just stay for a little bit longer, just to make it easier to read, as it will tell you of your remaining food and drink quantities, allowing us to monitor the resources without diving into the cargo hold each time. But you can't really manage it this way yet because notifications are too quick. The thing I like about this mod is that it would actually give a lot more credence to picking up all the various food items when you're out and about. By having 18 items consumed every 30 minutes if you have a max crew, the system will certainly incentivize regular inventory checks and restoration and restocking. Could be a very good mod for those seeking a more focused, immersive resource management when it comes to your crew. A few things to note on the compatibility. Any mod that directly alters your crew management or ship inventory system could potentially conflict with this one. However, it should be compatible with most standard gameplay or item expanding mods, particularly those that add new drink, food items, or expand the survival mode. Could be a cool, challenging gameplay mod, especially with 9 crew on board. A nice little immersion mod. Let's keep moving. Quickly looking at the Groat, Dagger, Prey. Upon installing this mod, it's going to add 2 things to your quick slots straight away, which is your stand prey and your kneel prey. These are also dropped into the player's aid items. So by equipping and using the daggers, players can initiate the prayer animation, typically reserved for the Varun NPCs. This unique animation adds a distinct layer of immersion, particularly for players interested in a role-playing as a member of the sympathizers with the Varun faith. There are definitely quite a few issues with the camera positioning with this mod. You're probably better off getting a better look at this using photo mode. It did appear to me that using the standing prayer animation actually healed my health, whereas I don't think the kneeling prayer did anything. But in any case, I just thought I would include it as some people may be interested in this since Shattered Space has been released. Let's keep moving. So the next mod kind of combines many mods together. This is very useful. This one's called Star Wars Blasters and Melee mod by Mr. Crossbow. This offers a comprehensive weapon overhaul for Starfield, transforming all the in-game weapons into the Star Wars inspired counterparts. We're talking complete weapon replacements, replacing every single weapon within the game, whether it be a gun or a melee weapon. It is all now a huge overhaul into the Star Wars inspired counterparts. So this will consolidate many of the previous Star Wars weapon mods all into one. This is such a huge help too. And this mod is almost like a gig worth of download. So it's a huge mod, and the textures and detail of these weapons are just truly amazing. There's only a couple weapons where the textures are looking a bit average, but for the most part, they're just stunning. The mod also features a high-speed laser projectile designed for better targeting, connection, a new stun projectile for EM magnetic weapons, which was developed in collaboration with Radical Clown Friend. Here's a quick look at the new EM projectile. Now, I can't see it, but the effects definitely look amazing when you hit something. But you'll definitely notice a lot of different projectile changes with this. Not to mention, you have an incredible flamethrower, which looks absolutely phenomenal. They've definitely outdone themselves with the flamethrower. Very, very stunning weapon. They've also modified scopes, which are now available as upgrades on various different weapons. There's also optional cosmetic scope modifications, custom ammunition boxes, names, as they're all Star Wars themed now. You'll also have the incredible sounds as well. Now the sounds will only work on PC, they still will not work on Xbox. This is going to be an ongoing issue that will be resolved one day. Not to mention that all the new weapons will have their own custom icons. If you look down at the bottom right there, you'll see as we change through the weapons, we have a complete collection of UI icons. And this is the most comprehensive overhaul we have for Starfield. The weapons look amazing, they sound amazing, the animations are perfect. It's just such a brilliant all-in-one mod. Saving us a ton of problems, being able to just simply click and just get them all at once now. Really incredible mod. Let's keep moving. Here we have the NPCs have routines and stores have schedules. A mod by Flippin' Eggs is an immersive addition for Starfield that brings a deeper sense of realism to the game world by assigning a daily schedule to NPCs and adding in store hours to businesses. The NPCs are scheduled, so some of the key features and enhancements with this mod is that the mod attempts to assign 40 named and 4 unnamed NPCs with daily routines, creating a dynamic world where characters move between locations, contributing to a more lifelike environment across multiple Starfield locations, including New Atlantis, Sidonia, Aquila City, Neon, Hopetown, and Paradiso. So what this will mean is that you will notice NPCs leaving the store or moving around the locations much more, as well as being able to find data slates with business hours, which in total includes 61 new data slates that gives you some detailed business hours, as well as provides some lore-rich insight into the NPCs' lives. You can also use those slates to find out where some of these NPCs will be at certain times. And you can somewhat follow NPCs to a degree, but you will know where they are later, so you can interact with them and find them. But I do really like the idea of how this mod intends to perform. Unfortunately, it's a bit lackluster in terms of what we're used to in other games where we could follow around NPCs' daily lives and interact with them, and they might change their dialogue or interact with us differently depending on how we catch them. The other nice thing that this mod will do is that store hours, sometimes on certain shops, if it's after hours, you simply won't be able to interact with the shopkeeper because they would have disappeared. Some shops will have robots and they'll operate at the night cycle. But what this mod does do well is definitely bring a lot more life into your shopping experience with a lot more realism. Having opening hours and being able to follow some of these NPCs around and interact with them in different places and find them later at some of their preferred spot is a nice touch. There's a few other things that this mod does, but overall we've kind of captured the main concept here. Certainly a nice touch and something new and refreshing as an idea as a mod. I do look forward to how this could develop further and be improved. Nice mod, let's keep moving.